Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome along back to Forever United TV. We are live. We are looking through Ruben Amorim's press conference. He is in the hot seat right now talking. And quotes will be coming to you in the next 12 minutes' time. We'll have you fully up to date with everything that the man himself has said ahead of the derby this weekend. Hope you're all feeling in confident mood about the Manchester derby. We're going to go through all of the other points and stories floating around from the rest of this morning as well before we get into Ruben's quotes and get your comments in as well. Obviously, this is the best time to get your comments in now before the press conference actually kickstarts, so get in with them as well. We're going to be talking, and hopefully, and this looks like it's on the agenda as well, just looking through a few of the media sources who are in and around the press conference today already. It does look like the question is going to be going down the line of like who is available, what's your best team to pick right now. Will Mason Mount be in that starting lineup for the Manchester derby? Of course, this was the last start that Mason Mount had for Manchester United in the previous Manchester derby this season. Back in December, he went down early in the first half, and obviously we've not seen him since until he started making an appearance over the last couple of games. So really, it is now, again, it feels like it's quite ironic that he's going to make his first start against City, and that was his last start in the Premier League as well. So we'll see if that question comes up. Obviously, fitness on players is always top of the agenda when the press conferences come around, so that's probably going to be one that's brought up. Who else is in there? Any update on Kobbie Mainoo's contract as well, because that's been doing the news rounds this morning. We covered that earlier on this morning. Obviously, as well, in terms of players coming up from the academy, a few players like Ibrahimov who have also signed their first professional contract. Is there going to be anybody now featuring this season from the academy? I think questions like that, because with a fully fit squad, there isn't that much room on the bench for Manchester United, and obviously he's going to be asked the question then if you look at that and everything that's happened in the Premier League, is it now, with where United are in the Premier League, more important to rest certain players out of the first team and wait for that game against Lyon coming up next Thursday? So really, when you look at it, you've got to go, well, okay, all right, let's see how he does sort of set up against City. I can't see this being a problem. It's going to be fully strengthed, but the game I'm looking at in particular is probably the Newcastle one in between. So Newcastle we play next Sunday at 4:30. That's obviously sandwiched in between the two Lyon games. So I think that's probably where we're going to find any sort of changes in preparation. Obviously, all after what happens in that first leg against Lyon, if United are doing well, maybe it will be a full strength side. But there obviously will be one eye on the Europa League going into next weekend. But this weekend, I think we're all right. Plenty of time to recover. Obviously, another 4 days so before Manchester United play again after Sunday. It's enough time. And the squad is as big as it's ever been right now, with options all over the place. There's only Ahmad now who is out. Also, Kobbie Mainoo is back on grass. So we'll get an update on Mainoo's fitness as well in all of this today in the press conference, hopefully. So, yeah, a few more days on from his previous one. And obviously, we're now going to see what's happening going into the derby this weekend in terms of availability. Who might be in line for starting? Is Harry Maguire going to come in at centre forward? I'm only joking. Of course, he's not. Not unless we get desperate again, anyway. But yeah, plenty of questions to ask in this press conference, and I don't necessarily think it's an awkward one for him to deal with. Look, it's a derby. Obviously, then questions are going to come up as well. The pressure. City having their worst season under Pep. Manchester United having their worst ever Premier League season. Maybe stuff like that will pop up as well. Let's get into the comment section, see how you're all feeling as well. Before it starts, how we're looking. Would you start Mason Mount, by the way, everybody? Get into the comment section on that and let me know what you think. Is it time that we started just forgetting about what's happened with Mason Mount's injury and everything like that? Because like you see at the bottom of the screen there is been a piece this morning from Carrington, someone close and a source at Carrington, saying that the medical staff and medical team at Manchester United feel like Mason Mount's recovery has been as good as it could be. They are 100% confident that his rehabilitation has been met, and obviously I've gone through every single protocol and scenario that could possibly happen. They feel confident that he is ready to go, and that's coming out from Carrington. So obviously, He's had 2 weeks training over international break. He come back and featured in the game off the bench against Nottingham Forest. So far, so good. No reoccurrences, nothing in training. And we're now waiting to see the start. Can we get more than half an hour out of Mason Mount, maybe? I think that's what you've got to look at next. It's step by step and stage by stage. So let's just see. Let's see what we've got in the comments section. All managers just need their players. Okay, we wait forever. I don't know if we're waiting forever. I think there's been a lot of injury situations around the Premier League with a lot of clubs this season. It's not just United. Mount is not injured. No, he's not injured. He's fit and he's ready to go. So, yes. Who is actually thinking that he's injured again? I said Mason Mount to start versus Man City. All of the talk is that Mason Mount is back. So, yes. It's garbage if you think that Mason Mount is injured again. Actual sources from Carrington have said that Mason Mount is fit, fully fit, and raring to go. So it's nothing to worry about. If there has been something I didn't know about, I can see a few comments in the live chat now actually talking about where the story that Mount might be unfit would have come from. I don't think there is any sort of ground in that at all. It is all of Manchester United looking to fit Mason Mount back into the side. But yeah, let's get on with this. There have been discussions on potentially sending Mason Mount to a private clinic in Switzerland regarding resource of his injuries. It's a load of crap again. Like, look, these are things that probably happen anyway. And it's turned into a story. There is no story. Mason Mount is in the United squad and is available. And Ruben's going to confirm that in a moment when he starts talking. And them quotes will be coming up. Mount needs to play multiple games off the bench, 20 to 30 minutes before he starts. I don't think so, mate. I think he needs to start playing for 60 minutes. You can't keep playing a player for 30 minutes and expecting him to pick up the pace of a game when the intensity is at its highest. He needs to work his way into games as well. And I know we have to look after these players, but we haven't got time to look after these players. We cannot keep just allowing these players to just play certain amounts of time. I get it. Look, I said I would play Mason Mount from the start against City. If he's fit, he's fit. Maybe bring him off at half time. Maybe get him into the start of a game. That's what you've got to do. Get 60 minutes out of him. Nurse him in that way. Honestly, I would prefer starting him and seeing what he can do in complete control of a game rather than coming in when everything's a bit desperate later on in the game when United are losing or something like that. So obviously, if we're winning a game, it's easy to bring a substitute on. But still, the intensity of the game is a lot higher at that moment. And I think you tend to rush things a little bit more and try to get into the game. I don't necessarily feel like giving players bits of time off the bench actually works well in games. I don't. Let's see what we got. Yes, definitely start Mount if fully fit. Knows the system. Play him instead of Garnacho. Then bring Garner on as an impact player when the game is stretched. Look, Garnacho will be brilliant as an impact player at Manchester United. We've said this all along, all of the time. It is a case of just utilising him wherever best. And I think he is better off the bench right now until he is giving Ruben Amorim, which I don't think he will because I don't think he'll be given time to. I think he needs to come off the bench and prove his worth again and then work his way back in. Right now, I think he will be second fiddle if Mason Mount is fit. I do believe that. I actually feel like Xerxes offers Ruben a little bit more than what Garnacho does as well. So I think he's now falling down the pecking order when players become fit. And if Ahmad comes back in, then Garnacho's got no chance of starting for Manchester United. And I think everybody can see that. And that's one that's actually bubbling up and coming now. So yeah, I think he is behind 3 other players, Garnacho. And as an academy player coming through, that probably is what a lot of people would say where you should be. Where you should be. Graham has super chatted me saying, fluid to the story on club considering sending Mount to a specialist to cure things once and for all. The statement fell down when Terry suggested it was Switzerland. What? Euthanasia. Oh, right. Okay. Graham didn't need to do a super chat on that, buddy. Thank you, mate. Appreciate that, mate. Appreciate that, buddy. No, in terms of, I've seen that story going around, and it wasn't a story to make anything out of, to be honest, from what I've seen. Look, these things go on all of the time without us knowing. Someone's just made a story look bigger than what it is by tweeting this out or something like that. And then you'll have content creators that probably jump onto it and think there's something in it, but there isn't. There really isn't. This is something that happens at football clubs all of the time, and they've got the resources to do it. Because it's been reported, and because it's Mason Mount, because we're so desperate, and because it's Manchester United, of course, we are looking at that and saying, yeah, actually, it is a little bit more. It is a little bit more, and there is more to it. There isn't. But cheers for that, Graham, mate. Love that, buddy. Hello, Joe. Hope you're doing well as mate. Let's see what else we've got. Please give the video a like as well, everyone. The quotes are coming up from Ruben's press conference in just a moment's time. So we will get through all of the nitty-gritty. I'm sure, again, injuries are at the forefront. That is all that anybody's talking about right now. What did we learn after that Nottingham Forest defeat? How are the players? How is the mood in the squad after being so good? It was absolute cobblers, Adam. Thank you, Graham. Appreciate it, mate. I'm from Limerick, Ireland, living in Boston, USA, over 15 years now, realist. Thanks, I jumped into someone else's conversation. Boston is a lovely place. Limerick is not a bad place either. Good for you, mate. Good to have you in the chat as well, Danny. Mount has 1 goal and 1 assist in his United career. He can't start surely over Garnacho. He can, because he does the system better under Ruben Amorim. He knows the system better, and it is all about the system and the style, and that's all that matters. It's a team, it's not about individuals. Garnacho has come on and scored a shed load of goals in the Carabao Cup earlier on this season, which have bumped up his numbers dramatically from what everyone's saying. He was in horrendous form until he got that goal against Leicester, and obviously he got an assist as well shortly after. But look, you cannot just look at what players' output is. It's whether they contribute to the system or not. Rather than stats. I think we can look at stats in a way and say, yeah, they're good, and they are the most important thing, obviously, because they're the ones that get you the points, and points make prizes, as they say. But still, you have to look at it and say, well, really, it isn't just about what numbers he gets. He could just fall up onto a tap-in, and you can then say, look, he's got more goals than him. It's what he does in the game. It's how he brings players in. It's how much more control United have got of the game. I think that's what you've got to look at. And I think, we know this all along anyway, he loves Mason Mount, Ruben Amorim. So, yes, it is. Sorry, Adam, I just tuned in. What have I missed? Not much, mate. We're just going through everything what might be asked before the press conference starts. We are going to be hearing the quotes any minute now. It is 1:30. All of the released statements and quotes are going to be coming out. So, we are going to be covering that as soon as it comes, and they are on the way in a moment. Mount knows how to press and how to keep the ball. 2 things that none of the other players know how to do. I agree with what Carl United Spotlight says there. That's why Mason Mount, when fit, will play. And I think he's, in terms of importance, I think he's just as important as Ahmad in this team for Ruben Amorim. He is. He is one he thinks he can rely on. Ahmad, Bruno, Mount, these are the players he knows he can trust, I feel. And you can see it with Mount. Even though he's not played, you can see that he actually does believe in him. And he has got something. He has played this system before. And we've got to expect him to actually be trusting in a player that has won things at the highest level in this system. And straight away he cottoned onto it. And he said as soon as he walked through the door. So it's all about Mason staying fit now. That is it. That's all anybody cares about. Right, quotes are coming in. Here we go, basically. Injury news first of all. Ruben has said on Kobe Mainu, I think Kobe is returning to training, so we will assess him ahead of the game. He cannot play a full game. I think Matthias de Ligt has an issue. So a bit of an update there. It looks like Matthias de Ligt has an issue. Whether or not he will be playing now, that's a bit of a disappointment straight away. A bit gutted if Matthias de Ligt is out. He has been an absolute legend for this club this season. I'm just saying that off the cuff. He's not a legend, obviously, but he has been an absolute monster for Manchester United this season. And if Matthias de Ligt is missing, then we are weaker, I think. That's what I would say anyway. But that's what Ruben's just come out with now. We want to win this game. We want to improve in the table, and especially we want to win games. We are going to have a full focus on this game. Of course, it's a question asked about climbing the table. It's a pretty crap question, to be honest, but obviously you're only going to get one sort of answer out of Ruben Amorim for that. And that is, we're just going to win games. That's all he says. We need to win games. And he's right on that, because United have lost more games than we've won this season. It's staggering how United have only won 10 games all season. And we've lost 13. It's mind-boggling, in a way, that Manchester United are where we are. And it's interesting, because this table really just shows... And I think it would have been different with Ten Hag. I think we might have actually had more points, but we would have obviously not had a system in place. We would have still had the likes of Marcus Rashford and Anthony in the squad, and business wouldn't have been done the way it's been done. And that, I feel, is the most important thing. I think it is a case of Manchester United right now. We're looking at this and saying, look, we're having to take the necessary losses to look at the longer term gains. I think that's what it is. Okay, talking about Garnacho as well. I think he is doing the right things. Like any player in our team, he has to choose better. He has to choose better in the final third. Bruno Fernandes is the only one scoring goals easily. Garnacho needs to improve the way he runs, the way he defends, scores and assists. He is improving. He needs to improve them, but he says he's improving. So he needs to improve on every aspect of his game, but he is improving, is what Ruben has said there. Look, minor little details I think we can all see in Garnacho. He's definitely changed. That's 100%. But, again, Ruben does actually pick up on something that everybody's criticising him for there, which is he needs to be better in the last third. And that is definitely something that was there for everyone to see against Nottingham Forest. And not just the Forest game, in other games as well. Amorim on De Bruyne leaving City. That's a weird one. That is easy. He was like one of the best midfielders in the Premier League. The time passes to everyone, so that is a natural thing. He improved the league. He was on the wrong side of Manchester. I wish him good luck. Amorim on City's problems. I am more focused on our problems. I think we have a bigger problem than Manchester City. They have problems in that run. They have improved. They have maybe the best coach in the world. They have top players. It is difficult. It's going to be a difficult match. I am focused on improving my team. I am not focused on City's improvements. I don't see one win as a special moment. Special moments are to win titles. Even in the third division, you can beat the best team in the division. As in Amorim on if City win, on if the City win is the highlight as his time at Manchester United. So that was the question: was the City win away from home when we beat them 2-1 at the Etihad the highlight so far? And he just says special moments are when you win titles. I don't see it as a special moment. It's just another win. And that's what it needs to be for United, because you cannot base your whole season around winning big games like that. That's what we've done before. And look where it's got us. We've not got anywhere. Amorim, if Mount can start. Here is the one we've been waiting for. Yes. He is fit enough to start, but we must manage him. Mason has trained a lot of times getting the load in his body. Sometimes the mind is more important than the body. If he is fit to play and well, we will see on Sunday. So Ruben Amorim has said that Mason Mount is fit. His quote, yes, he is fit enough to start. Those are the words that have come directly out of the boss's mouth. But he does add a little bit to it. There is conditions to it as well. He will assess him before the game and make the call whether or not he feels he's ready. The mind is more important than the body sometimes, Ruben said, with regard to Mason Mount. Is he confident in him to start this game? And like I said before, this was the last game that Mason Mount started last year. And it's going to be quite ironic that he does start again against Manchester City as his next start. So that again there, that's the big one. Mason Mount can start against Manchester City. That is probably the biggest thing to take away. The two big things to take away from this press conference so far. And this is just part one. Remember, the embargoed version will be coming later on. And that will probably be out tonight or maybe out on Saturday night, in fact, ready for the Sunday morning ahead of the derby. But he says that Mason Mount can start, but Matthias de Ligt has a problem and might not start. So, bittersweet. Good and bad, really, in terms of the press conference from Ruben Amorim. And it's going to be interesting to see if If he does start him, where and who he sacrifices, I do believe it will be Garnacho. I do. He's also been asked a question in the press conference here that I've just seen come up. Is it realistic United can win the title in 2028? Oh, God, here we go. The response to this was, of course, yes, we can. I understand, and I am not naive. Sometimes it is for me. I cannot manage that as in expectation. I know that we are not going to be the biggest contender in the next year or 2 years. We are doing a lot of things. Sometimes we have changed players because they have had to adjust to our new standards. We have to change a lot of things. We have changed a lot of staff. We have changed things inside the club. I cannot say we need a lot of years. I cannot manage that. I am not saying that we are going to win the title in the next year. I am not crazy. Next year, we are suffering a lot to be so much better. So, in terms of that quote there, actually at the end, next year we are suffering a lot to be much better. So, does that mean that sacrifices are going to be made from within the club, playing staff? Maybe you can look at it that way. But Ruben pretty much laying it out there. United can win. And yeah, I mean, you look at it, and when you read what he said there, like, who is he alluding to? Is it Marcus Rashford? We have made a lot of changes. We have made changes to staff. We have changed things inside the club. I mean, it could be. It could be. Amorim on the task of catching City and others. Not just Manchester City, but other teams. They are already in a place where we need a lot to catch them. I just want to focus on our strengths and use our club to bring 1 or 2 big players in. Oh, interesting. We are doing all the stuff to be so much better next season. If it is going to take 4 years to win the Premier League, I don't know. Next season, we need to just be much better. Interesting. We are doing everything we can to bring in better players. And I think that a couple, let me just read that through again. He says 2 big players in. So Manchester United are looking to bring in 2 big players, apparently, from Ruben Amorim's press conference. What he said there today. Interesting to see who they are anyway. Let me know what you think about this, everybody, in terms of what he's saying here as well. Let's just see. We got Mason Mount deserves to start. He is simply can run whole games instantly. Is what we need against Manchester City. We need players like, I think what Carl said earlier on in the chat as well, about players who can actually hold on to the ball. I think that's important for Manchester United, especially in a game about this. Nothing has been said on Aiden Heaven yet. I can see a few people in the chat asking that. I'm still waiting and clearing through all of the quotes here right now from the press conference. And remember, there is more to come from this, so we will just see. Amorim on how the likes of Newcastle and Aston Villa have gone up as United have gone down. So some big questions being asked in this one today. The focus must be on how to improve our team in every aspect. Of course, the Premier League is so different. People say Sir Alex Ferguson it took 2 or 3 years time to win something. It is completely different nowadays. The pressure is different. No matter the context, we need to be there at the top. We will have to say a lot of adversity and big teams. We will have to say a lot of adversity and big teams. I think that might have been a misquote in what he said there, to be honest. That's just a print that's been read out. That does conclude the first part of the press conference, though. So let's go through the actual main points from that press conference there today. First of all, in terms of the injuries, Kobbie Mainoo will be assessed. He is back, he's training, he's fit. He's not right to start the game, though. So it'll be interesting to see if he actually comes into the matchday squad at all. If not, we're probably looking towards Leon on Thursday. In terms of Mason Mount, Ruben Amorim has said that he is fit to start. So we could see Mason Mount in the starting lineup. And now we're looking at a few more options. God, can you imagine if Man United actually had Ahmad fit right now, and we had Ahmad and Mason Mount available for us? We would have serious options. We'd have the likes of Xerxes and Garnacho both on the bench to come on and make an impact. probably where they belong right now in terms of the quality that they've shown this season. No disrespect to them, but like, we are relying on players that really aren't good enough in the moment to bring the necessary rewards to Manchester United. So I think Xerxes and Garnacho are both bench players, in my opinion, and that's how I see them. Matthias de Ligt has a problem, though, so we're going to have to wait on that one, I feel. He just did touch on that. There isn't much coming from the press conference on this yet, or anyone reporting anything on it, any extra. So we'll have to wait and see on the Matthias de Ligt situation, because Ruben has said he may have a problem, so he might not be fit for the Manchester derby, is what's being said there, I think, more than anything. Let's see what else we've got here. We need Mount at the inside forward role. We can't rely on Garnacho at inside forward role, as he doesn't cross the ball to the striker. I hope Mount and Bruno does at an inside forward role. Right, okay. MUFC forever. Get what you're saying there. Only player I am interested in is Ahmad. He can't bloody score without him and Bruno. So we can't score without him and Bruno. Mr. Dacia Sandero says, Ahmad and Mount are two good creators of chances for our strikers. Definitely need these players on the pitch. And there's the question again for everybody. Would you start Mason Mount? Ruben Amorim has said he's fit enough to start. So would you start Mason Mount? That's the question. Would you start him? I don't know personally. I'm not too sure. I would, if Ruben says he's fit enough to start, I would be starting Mount rather than bringing him on off the bench, is what I'm saying. He's never going to play 90 minutes. I think that's what we've got to look at. But if you can get 50 to 60 minutes out of Mount, then that's Manchester United playing better, with players understanding the system that Ruben wants to play for a lot longer. And that, I think, is what we need to look at in all of this. Big up, Adam, the legend. Thank you, Noah. Appreciate that, mate. Spirit of Lakota. One eye on the game at Leon may be more important than this derby. It is, mate. It is. It's not maybe. You're dead right about that, Spirit. It is more important than the Manchester derby. Obviously, for bragging rights and this game being just a couple of days away, this is obviously more important. You can only play what's in front of you, and the game that's next is City, and that's all that anybody should be thinking about. Win the game in front of you, then we'll deal with Leon. But if you put them both out next to each other and you laid out the importance of both games, yeah, you could say bragging rights, Manchester, the derby, it's always good to win it. If I was to choose which game I wanted to win, I would lose to City and beat Leon all day long, because it gives United another chance. And Ruben's thoughts there, another piece from that press conference that we need to keep on to. We're doing everything right now to bring in two big names in the summer. He specifically said two. I will watch the press conference back and come back on that a little bit later on. But for him to come out and say we're looking at bringing in two big names, or two big players, sorry, I think is what he said. That, I think, is key. So everything that he's saying, the sacrifices that we're making, the changes we've made, does he mean Marcus Rashford in that? Does he mean players that have been let go? We have to change how Manchester United are. And that was obviously a big part of Manchester United, Marcus Rashford, over the years. But still, whichever way Ruben wants to put that across, I think it's quite clear that he understands that not everybody's going to survive at United going into the summer. And to bring in the players, he said this before, we need to make changes to make changes. And by that, it means players have to leave if players want to come in. And them two big players that he wants to come in will only arrive at United, and we know this, if they are big players. And it all depends what he thinks as big players. Are they big players in name and stature? Are they big players in certain positions in his system? It could mean a few different things, so we need to remember that as well. But quite clearly saying that, to me, he's in contact with the recruitment team. He's clearly talking to Ineos, and he knows, because he said in his press conference there that we are doing everything we can to make the changes necessary in the summer. So that, I think, is a big thing to take away from the press conference today. And more importantly, we all know that United are really getting down to work and are trying to get the necessary transfer dealings done. I think he actually knows that this season is pretty much over regarding the league. He's sort of like just sidestepped that question about climbing the table. Of course, he just wants to win games. Of course he does. He wants to win games to build confidence. He wants to win games to give himself time. And winning games might give us the confidence going into these Europa League games as well. So that's something that we have to also look at in all of this. Please do hit that subscribe button on Forever United TV as well to keep you up to date with all of the content coming out. We are live, just going through Ruben's press conference now. We're going to wrap things up there. Give the video a like as well, please, everybody. We're about to hit that 100 like mark for a quick fire show on a Friday afternoon covering the presser. Thank you, everyone. Let's get a few more comments quickly before we finish. Sorry, but Ruben didn't say that at all. Nothing about transfers. No, he talked about bringing in 2 big players. There's a quote there from him. And you can only assume from it, like I did, that he is talking about changes that are necessary in the summer going into next season, because he was asked a question on I think he was asked a question on what happens, can United challenge for the title in a certain time, and he's come from that and said, not regarding transfers directly, just so we're clear on that. He talked about 2 big players coming in the summer. We're working on things to change things going into next season, because he was asked the question on winning things and climbing the table. Not directly transfers, but it turned into transfers because of it. So, yeah, we'll go through all of that later on, and I'll be back later on this evening live as well, everybody, to go through everything in detail again, and we'll probably pop up a few more of them quotes from Ruben in video on that later on as well. But for now, that is everything. Thank you again, MGFC forever. I will be back. Great comments again today on the live show. Thank you, everyone. I'll be back later on with your evening show, and we'll take it from there, everyone. So thank you very much. Make sure you pop a like on the video, hit the subscribe button, share the video, and I'll see you all later on, everyone. Have a good one.